Hello, my name is Trent Boyer, and I've decided to do my Coasts of the World project on Omaha Beach, located in Normandy, France. Normandy is a geographical and cultural region in northwestern France in Europe, near the French capital of Paris. This region comprises primarily the mainland Normandy and the Channel Islands. The total area that it encompasses is 30,627 square kilometers and has a population of 3,499,280. The natives of Normandy are known as Normans, and the Norman language is most frequently spoken and understood here. The origins of Normandy's name date back to the 19th century as a result of the settlement of the land by the Vikings, or Northmen. Omaha Beach in northern France is one of the landing areas for the Allied forces during the French invasion in 1944. The beach is a popular tourist site due to its historical significance. Omaha Beach is scattered with monuments and museums that preserve the history of the area. Omaha Beach is located on the Normandy coast in northern France. The beach faces the English Channel and lies between Saint-Honoré-des-Pertes and the right bank of the Duvet River. It is 8 kilometers long. During the Second World War, Nazi Germans occupied and controlled the whole of northwestern Europe. U.S., British, Canadian, and French troops planned the Normandy landings, which turned out to be the largest seaborne invasion in history. The operation was meant to free northwestern Europe from the control of the Germans. Planning started in 1943, and the Normandy coast was the target. The Normandy coast, which stretches 80 kilometers, was divided into 5 sections: Sword, Juno, Gold, Omaha, and Utah. Before the day of the operation, the Allies conducted fake attacks and sent out incorrect information with the aim to mislead Germans. The D-Day was on June 6, 1944, when U.S. troops planned to invade Utah and Omaha, while British, Canadian, and French troops would take over Gold, Juno, and Sword. On the D-Day, the weather did not favor the Allies. Many soldiers drowned as they approached Normandy. Furthermore, Germans had a strong defense, and they fired and killed most U.S. Army Rangers from heights surrounding the beach. Nevertheless, the U.S. Rangers put up a good fight. Omaha Beach suffered the highest number of casualties during the invasion. After 3 days, the Allies succeeded in their operation at the Omaha Beach. The Normandy beaches were chosen by planners because they lay within range of air cover and were less heavily defended than the obvious objective of the Pass de Calais. Normandy is also the shortest distance between Great Britain and the continent. When Dwight D. Eisenhower was planning the invasion of Normandy, he made sure to check with Walter Monk and his colleagues first. Monk had come to the United States from Austria-Hungary to work as a banker before switching to oceanography, eventually making major advances in the science of tidal and wave forecasting. He was a defense researcher at the Scripps Institution of Oceanography in 1944 when his team calculated that the seas on June 5 of that year would be so rough that a delay was in order. The invasion would happen the following day. Monk developed methods to predict ocean wave patterns, helping American troops develop landing techniques which were used in both the Pacific and Atlantic theaters of war. His improved wave forecasting allowed military meteorologists to correctly predict landing wave heights during the D-Day invasion. Before Monk's work, the military had not attempted accurate wave prediction. Monk's inspiration came when he learned that the U.S. was planning an amphibious landing in Africa, where waves were routinely high enough to swamp landing vehicles. Monk recruited fellow oceanographer Harold Sverdrup. Monk convinced Sverdrup to help him develop a method for predicting surf conditions so that Allied invasions could have a better chance of succeeding. The Sverdrup and Monk wave prediction technique worked so well that it was used in the 1994 D-Day landings at Normandy. This was, of course, also the first time anybody had devised a way to predict the surf, and it paved the way for research over the following decades that led to the models we all use nowadays. Monk truly was the grandfather of wave forecasting. After his seminal work during World War II, he continued his research on the wave prediction techniques. He made some of the first observation of wave groupings decades before most people knew anything about surfing. Closely related, he was the first to study those long tsunami-like surges of water that hit the coast during large swells and storms that we all know now are so important for coastal erosion. He was the first to name them infragravity waves. When the Allied forces planned the D-Day invasion, they took geology into account. Nearly 1 million aerial photographs of the shores of Normandy were studied to find the best landing sites for the invasion and establish a western front against Nazi Germany. The sand deposited by rivers between the harbors of Le Havre and Cherbourg created sandy shorelines where a landing with amphibious vehicles was possible. In January 1944, British divers risked their lives to collect samples from selected sites. Geologists had to determine if the sandy shores could support the heavy equipment and the modified tanks needed to overrun the local German coastal fortifications. The geology inland from the coast also played a role in the success of the invasion. The Calderos Plateau, located northwest of the city of Caen, was formed by limestone of Jurassic age. So how does this affect the society and the coast of Normandy? Tourism to the Normandy sites has had a positive benefit on the local communities, no doubt, but the influx of visitors adds to the pollution and erosion of the beaches. The coast itself will bear the scars of the war for decades to come. Even the sand contains fragments of the war. Fortification on the beaches trapped tons of sands. Although no case studies can be found, according to what we have learned in this semester, the freezing of the sand will take a toll on the beach. And finally, the liberation of Nazi-occupied France contributed to ending the war and freeing the world of the Nazi influence.